So, hello to anyone who joins this podcast and probably watching it after it's gonna be finished because we're still waiting for the first viewers. But today we're gonna discuss summer updates, these leaks from the Rockstar themselves. It's not even a leaks, and I invited Magnar, that you probably know by the nickname RedDeadRDC, but I will still call him Magnar because it's shorter and easier for me to pronounce, and that's his nickname. And yes, he's from Twitter. Obviously, you know him as well as a Reddit moderator and in a Discord. I mean, he's a noticeable figure in a Red Dead Online community. I mean, you definitely remember him from Clown Movement if you're playing this game for so long that you remember Clown Movement. So hi dude. How dude?
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
Oh, great that you joined. And luckily, I mean, I invited you obviously last week and didn't know that we will have such a cool topic to discuss. But today we're gonna be discussing partly, maybe mostly, this upcoming summer update and our expectations. So a few words for chat. First of all, hello to anyone who joined, and second, it is gonna be usual podcast. Like I'm gonna be doing something on a background, like searching for collectibles and not hard stuff. And mostly I'm gonna be focused on conversation, and obviously I'm gonna be keep an eye on chat. And at the end there will be moment when you will be able to ask Magnar some interesting questions. So let's begin. First of all, like describe, like, was you surprised yesterday when you saw this in Twitter? Probably you saw
Um,
this.
I wasn't necessarily surprised. I felt like we were getting around that time of year where they had to give us something, and I think with the Take-Two investor call coming, it felt like the right time. But I also felt like the announcements for Red Dead and GTA were kind of rushed. Like I felt like they almost wanted to say something's definitely happened, guys. Here's an update coming, and that's what we got just in time for the investor call later in the evening. But I wasn't surprised. I felt like something had to be happening soon. I didn't think we could wait till July, and the Outlaw Pass ends in 2 weeks, so it did feel like something had to happen soon. I normally would do a poll on Twitter to say, do you think we'll get news tomorrow? But I was so sick of the answer on a Tuesday being no, we're not going to get news that I stopped doing it for a while. But yeah, I wouldn't say I was completely surprised.
But you said you think it was rushed, this new news about updates. I don't think it's my personal opinion. I don't think they were rushed because they obviously knew that they will have this investor call soon and they kind of have to tell something before it. I think they tried to give us as less information as they can, as little
Yeah.
information as they possibly can, and that's why it looks so weird and clumsy. I mean, why would they say in one news why about GTA Online update, about GTA Enhanced Edition, and about races in Red Dead Online, new races? Like nobody cares about this. Nobody plays this game mode. Like never. Why would they put such a different topics into one newswire post? It looks weird to me, so I agree
Yeah,
it might
no,
look. Yeah.
I agree completely. I feel like people have been waiting for the expanded and enhanced news since it was revealed last year. And we got an announcement about it yesterday about the release date, but we didn't get a trailer, so that felt feels weird anyway. And then nobody in Red Dead Online that I know of has ever said, "Oh, let's go and do a race game mode," because they're really, really awful, I think. So to have that as, "Oh, this is coming soon," and then just a little line at the end, "Oh, and later Guido Martelli's coming and we're gonna
Hmm.
have robberies coming," and that sort of thing. It just felt like the whole announcement was just really weird, I thought. I do feel like they just tried to put as much information in there as possible without actually going specific into anything whatsoever, if you get what I mean. It was
Yeah.
really, really weird. And what I'm hoping as well when they talk about a summer update is we got Frontier Pursuit as a summer update in September. This can't be another September update. This summer update has to be in June. Like, any longer than that, and I feel like it's going to be a big problem for the players for sure.
Depends on the size of the update, I guess, because if it's really gonna be like robberies plus properties plus like robberies that will be heist type missions, that they can wait longer and they will still be fine. But if it's gonna be something in the middle, well, yeah, I agree with you 100%. They don't have that much time to wait.
Yeah.
So overall community is not like super optimistic about it, which is kind of surprised me. I mean, I see a lot of statements like lower your expectations and you never gonna be disappointed. And I mean, they literally said robberies among other high stakes robberies, and they put a picture of person robbing a train that we don't even have in Red Dead Online at the moment. And why in these circumstances my expectations should be lower? But it's a reasonable question. But on the other hand, we are dealing with the Rockstar, right? Let's not forget it. And what's your personal opinion? Whether it's gonna be under-delivered again, or it's gonna be something cool in September? Oh, not September. Hope not September. In the summer.
Hopefully not September.
Summer.
So there's just a few things I thought about, because I think I was maybe one of the first who said after the announcement, this looks like heists, but maybe just like rein in your expectations. Don't be expecting like loads of heists and everything until we get more information, because if we go into it expecting so much and we don't get that, we're setting ourselves up for disappointed. That's almost where we need to manage our own expectations, because Rockstar haven't gave us any more. Like when they teased Cayo Perico, there was like, this is like the biggest heist update ever, and it was a big update. Where with this they're using different language, so I think people just need to think about, it could be robberies, it could be heists. I'm hoping it's heist. A train heist would be absolutely amazing. There's so many different opportunities for that sort of thing, but I just want I wanted people to maybe be a bit more realistic and not expect something crazy. And there was another thing they put about, they're looking at community requested features that they're going to put into the game. They've said that a couple of times in the past and have never actually put big, like major features that people have requested. And like a big feature for players that I see all the time is they want multiple characters. People always ask about Rockstar Editor, about a job creator, custom lobbies. There's so many other things that people ask for that are big features that we don't seem to get. So people are already like, oh, they're going to add this, they're going to add this. And like, no, they've said this exact same thing in the past and haven't. So don't expect the world. Just expect maybe a moderate update. And if it comes in June, I think it'll be quite a moderately sized update. It'll be okay. If it comes in September, as you said before, it has to be a big update. If they leave it for another 4 months, it has to be like Frontier Pursuits with the 3 original roles was a very big update. If they leave it till September again, it has to be on that scale. If it's earlier than that, then I think something smaller is reasonable. But any longer than that, it has to be a lot bigger, I think. And that's why I say, though, people just need to manage expectations until we get more information about exactly what they're doing and a release date, because I think the release date is going to determine the size of the update.
Yeah, I mean, but you said like until we're gonna get some more information. At this point, I'm not quite even sure whether we're gonna get additional information before the update itself. For some reason, I have such feeling. By the way, I have to stop here for a second and say hello to anyone who joined. We have a lot of viewers right now, and there was a joke in the chat that like there is no dislikes yet. It means like Rockstar employees are not watching this. They are late, but I guess it's this changed. We already have some. So anyway, hello to anyone who joined. I saw DevGun Gaming, the Street Goats. Hi dudes. Hello to anyone, and we continue, but. You said about stuff that players request, right? But here I have to disagree with you, because I think your perspective is the perspective of a content creator. If you ask a PvP player, he will say like he expects new weapon, like this new rifle, buffalo rifle, or something like this, or new ability cards. If you will ask PvE player, he will ask something different. But what we have in common is, I think, it's again, I might be wrong, but some feeling of being an outlaw in this game. That's the crucial point. And if they will fulfill this need, I mean, it's gonna be successful update. Whether it's gonna be new role, whether it's gonna be heist, whether it's gonna be just cool, but much more upgraded Telegram missions. Because I don't know. We will discuss this now, but my personal opinion, the Telegram missions that we saw is just a test. It's just a test for something bigger. I had this feeling before. I have this feeling now. I don't think we will ever receive content like Telegram missions because they are pointless. For both players and developer. Developer gets no money. Yeah.
I feel like Telegram missions I feel like there's something they sound like they could be really cool and interesting, but they were literally just stranger missions. I felt like, I know they was solo and that was really cool for people who like to play solo. I pretty much only play solo anyway, so I thought that's actually perfect content for me. That's something I'd love. But then I was playing it and was like, this is just really no different to just doing a stranger mission. I almost missed the chance of encountering someone while doing the missions. I think they had a lot of spice to it. And the Rich Pickens mission was really cool. I know it was just a stealth, like a typical stealth mission, but I thought, if they can develop on that for the robberies that we'll get from the guy in the next update, I think that'll be really cool if they develop on it. But I think Telegram missions, as you say, were an experiment. They didn't really like the reaction from us because we weren't that interested. And for Rockstar, they're a bit pointless as well. So I don't think we'll see any more of those. I'd be surprised. I know they're in the game files, so they must have the missions there ready to release, but I'd be surprised if we see any more from them.
I mean, they are in the game files, but it's gonna be development from this idea because it's for bosses. Obviously, it's not a solo content anymore, and they might have different payouts and structure. So I think what I mean, we're not gonna get content like similar to these Telegram missions that we already received. Because they are weird. It's not for new players, definitely, because they are pretty hard for new players to complete on higher difficulties. You cannot choose difficulty. They are not for high-level players to replay because they pay pretty much nothing, and you cannot stack them with rolls, and rolls gives you the most amount of money. So I don't know. I mean, it's a content to play a few times and forget about it. Zero replayability. So I don't see the point to spend resources.
Yeah, I would actually like to know why, like when they were developed at Rockstar, who was their target audience for Telegram missions? Because I know they were for solo players, but I've got enough money as a solo player that they're pointless for me. After you do them once and go, yeah, that was kind of cool, or that was a bit boring, you're never going to do them again because the payout is so appallingly low. So, when you look at other missions, like a heist or a robbery is obviously good for like a group of players. Your trader missions are maybe for your more pacifist players, collector rollers for players who like to play solo and just, grind the game. But what is a Telegram mission for? Like, I never understood it. I felt like they wanted it to be this big solo expansion, and it was just pointless. I don't understand.
Exactly.
What the idea was.
I thought that maybe, it's for new players, for beginners who don't understand how to reach stranger missions, but actually Telegram missions are not that easy to start even. You have to go to your stash, you have to open Telegram. It takes a lot of time, and new players will probably not even play these Telegram missions, like pretty much never, until they will, progress. Yeah. So it's a weird, and I see no explanation except it's testing for something bigger, because Telegram mission improves some mechanics from stranger missions. It makes the gameplay more interesting, just like Infamous bounties is an evolution of regular bounty missions. So I hope it's the case right now. So even if it's gonna be some sort of a Telegram mission, it's not gonna be something that we already know by Telegram mission. Something it's gonna be something different. That's why I'm actually optimistic. I think that we will receive some cool content, and maybe everyone receives something that he wants, at least a little bit. So, for example, content creators will get a piece of new content, like PvP players, PvE players, everyone. So, with that being said, moving to the next question. So, if it's gonna be in summer, what do you think we will receive? Like, except these robberies that we were promised. Like, what else
So,
could there be?
I think I know we should never compare Red Dead with GTA because they've had very different, I guess, paths so far. But I think with GTA, one of the big ideas behind buying a property was as a staging ground for heists. You know, for planning a big robbery in GTA, you needed a property for your planning room, your preparation. Now, I don't feel like we are going to get properties the way players want. I don't think there's. I know they were found in the game files at launch, but I don't think we're going to see like you can buy a mansion in Saint Denis, you can buy a little house in Rhodes or wherever. I think at a push we might see an expansion in the Moonshine Bar because there's an empty room there. Maybe that room's turned into a planning room for robberies and that sort of thing. But then I think if that happens players have to be a trader or a moonshiner or whatever to get into that. So that's a big barrier of entry. So that wouldn't really make sense either. So I don't know. I feel like there needs to be a property of some sort accompanying the updates, but I don't actually really know what it could be. I feel like that's the most obvious thing, but I just don't see how they'd make it work without it having a weird barrier to entry being in a moonshine shack or what. Like maybe in the guy's mansion you get a room there that you can do it in or something, but I don't know. So I know everyone wants properties, but I've never really felt like they were going to happen. Just because I think the outlaw life, it's you have a camp or your moonshine shack. I feel like it'd have to be around the camp or moonshine shack. I just don't know how that'd actually work without being awkward. Um, but then when I was looking at like the other parts of the update they mentioned, where it's not just high stake robberies, it's intimidation, it's
Hmm.
crimes. So I don't know it.
It's
I
a
would love to,
preparation, right? You
yeah,
think it
yeah.
might be?
So I would love to imagine that, like, in San Andreas, you had like territories that you controlled that you stopped other gangs going into. I'd love it if it was as deep as his gang are maybe at war with one of the many other gangs in the world of Red Dead. So maybe we're gonna have to go and deal with them. Get them off your turf, that sort of thing. And then in terms of the other things you can do, you can go and almost set up a racket at a shop. You can extort people, that sort of thing. I'd like to say that had happened, but I don't know if it will be as deep and detailed as that. I'd like to think it would be like all these things would play a part and then lead to a big high stake robbery at the end. I'd like to think that, but I don't really know how that would reasonably happen. Um, but I think for a while now I've been overly negative about what Rockstar are
Oh,
doing and that sort
yeah.
of thing, and I can't help that. It's like I am disappointed and I've never hit that. I mean, I've also you know, when they've done something I felt decent, I've praised them and I will continue to do so. But I have just been a bit negative lately, and I think maybe that is why I don't have such high expectations and why the things that I think could be really cool, I don't know if they'll actually happen. It's weird, but
Actually, you said like you've been negative, and that's why you have not a high expectation. And I think that's like not you only. It's overall this atmosphere in the community. Because take a look anywhere, like they literally said we will have robberies. Here is a picture of dude robbing a train, and anyone like, well, let's keep expectations low. Well, I think it's gonna be Telegram mission. No one trusts in Rockstar anymore. If we're talking about Red Dead Online, at least. I mean,
yeah,
go anyway. It's not like on my channel in the comments, right? It's pretty much all the comments that I've seen on different channels, on GTA forums, on Reddit, in Twitter, anywhere is the same atmosphere. Like, well, let's get prepared to be disappointing. And it's super weird because Rockstar
Yeah.
used to be great companies that, people expect unbelievable from great companies.
I know,
And
and
now, what's that?
it's it's so weird because I think, you know, of the different people I talk to, like when there's an update coming for Sea of Thieves or Fortnite or Rainbow Six or Call of Duty, people never have low expectations. They always expect the world. They always expect amazing updates, loads of content. And with Red Dead, we're like, oh, maybe we'll get a mission and a new hat. It's
Yeah.
so weird that Rockstar Games, the most acclaimed developer in the world, and we've got the lowest expectations out of any player base. Like I feel like a lot of the community completely have no trust whatsoever in Rockstar to actually deliver a substantial update, and it's so weird. It should not be like that whatsoever. It's
Yeah.
it's it's weird. Because at its core, it's an absolutely like I think Red Dead's an incredible game at its core. Not the story, but the online can be incredible. But the Rockstar have just, I feel like so many of us have lost faith in what they're doing, and they seem to never want to do anything to actually win that back. When you look at the way other developers work, it's weird.
I
It's
mean,
definitely weird.
Fallout 76 has a roadmap. Like,
Yeah.
Fallout 76, this game still exists. It's a surprise for me. But they has roadmaps. They have loyal community and they communicate with them. I'm not quite sure how happy communities there is because I'm not a part of. But you look at different projects and they all have roadmaps. They share some information, communicate with the community. Like there is zero communication from the Rockstar. Unless you are a DJ. I don't know. I know I mentioned about this on each of my streams, but I
yeah.
just hate these tweets from Rockstar official Twitter account. Like, oh, that's such a cool, I don't know, DJ from Bratislava. He said, like, listen to him. I don't care about him, okay?
It's so stupid. Like they're turning GTA into like a weird SoundCloud knockoff. It's so stupid. I don't know anybody whatsoever who was like, oh my god, you know, like Black Madonna's in GTA. Oh my god, that's such great news. No one cares. Like
No one cares.
I don't get it. And I just feel like it would not surprise me if they tried to pull that same thing with Red Dead in some way because it's just so stupid. I don't get it.
But I
I've
mean,
never
who they
liked
will
it.
invite? Country musicians. Luckily,
Yeah.
we are protected from this in GTA. I hope it's not gonna happen. But it's super weird. And I mean, maybe we will even have some community streams like they had with, the sectors. You remember this embarrassment they had for GTA Online? It was super weird where
Yeah.
it felt
Well,
wrong.
I don't know if you remember the first community streams they tried to do for Red Dead Online, where at that point everyone in the community was whining. We wanted private lobbies or something like that, crew only lobbies, because the griefing was really bad when Red Dead
Yeah.
Online launched. So they did a community stream, and it basically like got everything they tried to do got derailed by griefers, and it weren't griefers even sniping them. It was just how awful Red Dead Online was at first for like griefing and that sort of thing. And they've never done one since. And I think, back when GTA was like first released, they used to do community streams all of the time. Like the community I used to run, we used to be on their streams all the time. They'd feature videos from our community and stuff like that. And it's like the community aspect of the company has just gone. It's crazy. They don't do community competitions really, other than maybe one a year on the newswire. They don't do like events or nothing. They don't do
Nothing.
streams. It's so weird. And I think the last one you mentioned before, with the last GTA stream we did, that was like
Yeah.
really horrific. It was really really funny, but I think because of that, we'll just never see anything like that again. And I think it's a shame for the community because they were really good, but they've shot themselves in the foot by not having a decent lobby system. By having the weird server setup they have, it means people can just get into any lobby and do whatever they want, and there's nothing they can actually do about it.
Yeah,
So
they cannot
it's
even stream in a private lobby because otherwise people would ask, What? You have private lobbies? Why can't we have private lobbies?" So it's a problem they cannot solve because they obviously will never allow us to have dedicated servers is not a question even, but even private lobbies, I don't think are gonna happen. So just
No, I think that ship has long sailed. If they were going to do them, it would have been after the what they called the beta for it, which was never really a beta because I still feel like it was like that up until Frontier Pursuits. But I don't think that'll ever happen. No, I wish it would. But even private lobbies on GTA don't actually even work anymore. Like the menus these days are so sophisticated, people can just get around it all and can still abuse people in private lobbies. So it's pointless. They just need actual servers that work and are not this weird hybrid P2P thing they've got now that people can just be abused through.
yeah.
I mean, you've dealt with that and many others have dealt with that. Luckily, I haven't. But like I've never been targeted that way, but I know so many have, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Almost all the
support can't help.
streamers, almost all
Yeah.
the streamers like have been targeted and nothing has been done. Actually, Rockstar tried to like fight cheaters, and there were almost no mod menu users for a month on PC. And now, like few days ago, just before an announcement, they all came back. Like mod menus are still working. People received bans for like 1 month only, and now this is expired, so they are back. And now PC looks like it used to look previously. So the situation is terrible with this. And since they've invested so much money into peer-to-peer connection systems, is development and algorithm anyway, you know what I mean. It's not gonna change. Unfortunately, it's not gonna change. So we have to get used to. And you know the funny thing is, they have not said, never said anything about Red Dead Redemption 2 having enhanced and enchanted edition for next gen version. Let's say. What do you think about that? Is this ever gonna happen, or is just dreams?
I thought it was going to happen. I felt like Red Dead 2 is such a success. The story mode, not online, the story mode was such a success. And so was the first Red Dead Redemption that never made it to PC. I thought, maybe we'll get an announcement, they're going to maybe report Red Dead 1 to PC and update that, because that's been a rumor that Red Dead 1's being redone for about 10 years and it's never happened, probably never going to happen, but I always felt like they should be doing something with that and Red Dead 2 to update it, like just even unlocking the frame rate on the newer consoles, which they haven't done. I feel like there's so much they could actually do with that to push it onto the new gen consoles and for PC that they never had, and it's so weird. I know GTA Online's the moneymaker, so that's why that's getting expanded and enhanced. And I think it probably just comes down to they'll make a lot of money about re-releasing GTA Online. They might not make as much money re-releasing Red Dead 2, and I think it's just sadly as simple as that. I would love it to get an update.
Yeah, Red Dead
Like
2, I agree.
especially the first Red Dead Redemption. I'd love to have that on PC now. I've got it on Xbox One, but I haven't played on consoles so long that I feel like I'm 150 years old when I try and use a controller to play games. So I can't really play it and enjoy it, where I wish it was on PC, like especially if it was updated. But I just don't see it happening, especially now they've announced, expanded and enhanced GTA, but haven't actually shared anything on that. I don't know. I'd love it to happen, but I don't really see it actually
I
materializing.
mean, why not? Why not Red Dead Redemption being remaked with PC version? It's possible. I mean, they will make tons of money because it's a continuation for Red Dead Redemption 2 story, and they've sold like how many? 36
Yeah.
million of Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm pretty sure that more than half of these players who played Red Dead Redemption 2 have never played Red Dead Redemption 1. I don't have
Yeah,
the
for
numbers,
sure.
but at least
Yeah,
half.
like I wouldn't know the numbers, but so many people who've never owned a console have bought Red Dead Redemption 2 and would
Yeah.
absolutely love to continue John's story. And I felt like after how successful Red Dead 2 was releasing in 2018, I thought, 2020 is the 10-year anniversary of Red Dead 1. Maybe, I really thought there's a small chance based on no information, just hope that on the 10-year anniversary in 2020 that we'd actually see, you know, Red Dead 1 remaster or something. And when it didn't happen, I just felt like, I don't know. And then they announced the expanded and enhanced GTA, and I just felt like, okay, yeah, this isn't going to happen. I don't feel like they're interested enough to do it. I feel like it'd sell so well. I feel like I'd definitely buy in, you know, Red Dead 1 on PC. I'd buy it in an instant. So many
Would
of us
you
would,
buy, by
but
the way, enhanced and GTA next chapter?
no,
No.
no. I unless the enhanced GTA comes with the biggest content update of all time, I've got no interest in buying it. And it's not coming to PC anyway. It's coming to consoles. I play GTA on PC. I unless it was something amazing, I wouldn't buy it for console. No.
But if it's
Because
gonna
I've
be
played.
like the rumor says on Rage engine for from Red Dead Redemption, so
Yeah,
Rage, not
even
engine. Yeah,
yeah, even then, I feel like it'd be cool to, have a go at it, but I wouldn't necessarily want to buy it and play it if the base content was still the same. Like, I think people think we're gonna get like GTA on Red Dead's engine, and that'd be amazing, if the whole world was overhauled and for that. But I don't think it's realistic. I think there may be things that they take from Red Dead into that, but I don't think it's gonna be a complete like overhaul on the updated Rage like engine they've got. I wish it was, but I don't think
but
it
I
will
mean,
be. And
if it's true, I will buy GTA enhanced and upgraded. Despite the fact I never played this game, like not online, not GTA 5 at all, but I still would wanna buy this game on this engine because engine is like really cool.
yeah, so I think as well, like the problem I'd have with it is if the online content is pretty much the same on a new engine. I've played GTA Online for like 1,000 hours or whatever. I've played more of that than Red Dead Online. You know, and I'm done with it. I've been over GTA for years. Like I think it'd have to be something incredible to get me to buy that. Whereas Red Dead 1, I would buy that within an instant just to play it on a new engine. That'd be incredible. But yeah, I don't know. I think the way they're so quiet about what's actually coming as well is weird. I feel like if it was going to be this amazing port on a new engine that's coming in 6 months, I feel like they would have shared bits from it, but they've shared nothing at all. And I think I
But I
don't know if
mean,
they're trying to keep it under wraps because they don't want people to be disappointed, or they're keeping it under wraps because it's going to be amazing. I don't know. I don't know. But either way, I don't think I'm that interested enough in GTA anymore to want to buy it. Like I'm well prepared to wait for GTA 6 in 25 years time or whenever that comes.
but from your logic, like if they're not saying it means they are not doing something great. They are not doing something great at all. I'm talking about Rockstar for a few years now because they're not saying anything. For a long time, we have no information at all at what Rockstar is working on. Like they only shared about the enhanced edition, and that's it. And there are tons
Yeah.
and tons of people, specialists in this company, and they have to do something for the last 3 years almost.
Yeah.
But I mean, we still have no information what is they working on. And by the way, there was a hint that there will be some surprise about GTA 3 anniversary. Have you seen it?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. So I had two ideas about that. If they were doing like a new, like an enhanced or remastered version of GTA 3, I think that'd be really cool. But I also felt like to me it was like I imagine they're gonna add GTA 3 as an arcade game in your casino or something that you could go in your casino and play GTA 3 within the game itself. Like it wouldn't surprise me if it was something as simple as that. I feel like it's weird with Rockstar now. You should have such high expectations, but you almost rein them in. I don't know. A remaster of GTA 3 would be really really cool, but we had GTA 4, which was in also in Liberty City, so it doesn't really make sense that they'd remaster that. not to me anyway. Where I think if they were going to incorporate GTA 3 into an arcade game and in GTA Online, that'd make more sense.
Yeah, I don't expect it to be a remaster but maybe we will receive a surprise. I mean, who knows? Who knows? It's kind of weird situation, you know. Most companies are releasing this remasters. It's like a meta now in this game development. But Rockstar have been asked by the audience to remaster pretty much any game, and it doesn't seem like they're doing it. It's weird. It's real
Yeah,
weird.
it really is because even the Mafia games got remastered and they were
Yeah.
like really decent. Like the original, I guess it's not really a trilogy if you like, but having GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas remastered would be really cool, like as a trilogy. I GTA 4 and GTA 5 are fine enough on their own that they don't need remastering, they just need updating, which is what's happening with GTA. But a remaster of that trilogy would be really cool, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. I hope it does. I'd really love to play them again, but I don't know. I more would be interested in a remaster of Red Dead 1. You know, getting Undead Nightmare remastered
Yeah.
and playing that would be amazing. Like I've hoped for Undead Nightmare since Red Dead came out like a couple of years back, but I don't know. I just don't know what's going to come. I feel like they keep everything under wraps so much that you almost lose hope in what they're actually going to do. I feel sometimes.
Yeah. So actually, since we're named the stream like discussing the summer update, let's come back because I have a question for you to answer. So it's a weird language they used. A lot of examples of kind of weird language they used in this announcement. So first of all, like high stakes robberies. I've never seen using high stakes. So it should mean that we're gonna have the high price. What do you think? Or it's just part of the, as someone said in my comments, corporate language that Rockstar is using. They just are trying to,
Yeah.
you know.
So I think it being high stakes means, you know, if it's a high stakes robbery, that means it's gotta, to me, a high stakes robbery would be something you've got to invest a lot to actually get into it. And the reward is also going to be equal to that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think it's going to be maybe like the train robbery that was teased in the image, you know, if it's setting up for a train robbery where you've got to like try and blow up the tracks or something like that, that'd be really, really cool. If it required like an investment, you had to go and do things to set that up that weren't just like Skyrim-esque go from A to B missions. If they were actual missions where you've got to set up and prepare for a heist and then pull it off, that'd be really cool. Especially with them saying high stakes, I feel like it is a bit corporate talk, but also, you know, high stakes robberies that are a thing in real life, and it can actually only mean something where there's a lot at stake for both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It maybe requires a big investment to do it, but you also get a big reward. That's what I'd like to think. But yeah, I think
Okay,
the
so
language used about. Sorry.
the next one, like, is riders best be willing to do whatever, because when I first saw this I thought like riders is another form of dudes or mates or whatever. It's just, but then I saw in the comments that many people are pointing to this, like, why riders, why the hell they used riders here. So do I, because I think it's something that lost in translation for me. So can you explain to me what's your
Yeah,
opinion?
so I think it's weird because they've typically always referred to people as like outlaws or
Mm-hmm.
posse members. They've never referred to the player as a rider. It is a bit of a weird word to use to describe the update that's coming. So I don't know, and calling it blood money as well makes it seem more like quite intense. Riders have to do whatever to earn blood money. Seems like it's going to be a big deal. That's why I like to think, I've said to people that they should maybe lower their expectations, but I think it's still reasonable to expect, something quite big in terms of the robberies themselves. But yeah, I felt like it's a weird word to use. I've never seen them refer to anyone as riders before. Like, I don't know what they're getting at with that, to be quite honest.
And nobody knows, maybe even not even Rockstar. So
Yeah.
the interesting question I just saw in chat. What do you think if this update fails? Let's say it's just gonna be Telegram mission, right? Might they end the live support of Red Dead Online? Can this happen if like
Uh,
was a big
I
fail?
think I think if this update flops, the next one, I think a lot of players, it'll be the final straw for a lot of players. I think it will be for me personally. If the update's really such a disappointment, I think it'll be time for me to like go and play Roblox or something instead. Like Joe, I'll go and play create a better cowboy game someone's made in Roblox or Gary's mod. But I think if it does happen and it is a disappointment, I think a lot of players are gonna move on, and I think that's gonna signal to the higher ups at Take-Two and Rockstar and that sort of thing that okay, we've invested this amount of time, this much money over the past however long to make this update. It hasn't worked. It's not what we're doing isn't working. We're continuously losing players. You know, even though it's going on to like Game Pass and you've had like a $5 sale for Red Dead Online, the player count is still dropping no matter what we're doing. So I think that at that point they'll have to reach a decision where they have to have it change the direction of the game completely, which maybe go more like GTA Online did with GTA when it started getting silly updates that were like took it away from being like a crime game to being all the silly stuff with the oppressors and whatever else. Um, and I think if that happens, it's going to alienate a lot of players who enjoy the more realistic and gritty setting. But I think that amount of that player base is quite small, so that'll eventually shrink. And I think if they don't do that and they go the way of okay, we're just going to carry on as we are, I think they're going to have to make a choice about this isn't going to continue to be financially viable unless they're making so much money off gold that we don't know about.
Actually,
Like I
they
know a
make a
lot of
lot. They make a lot. I'm
yeah, yeah.
pretty sure.
A lot of players buy gold. I know that
Hmm.
from polls you've done, from stuff I've even done on Twitter. Um, and I think unless they're making so much gold that it's viable just to keep it going forever, then they will. If it's not viable, then I think eventually they'll just put it on like almost okay, we're not doing any major updates, just bug fixes and whatever, and go from there. I think it'd be a big blow to Rockstar, like as a company, if that happened. Though, if they shut down Red Dead Online or put it on life support after 3 years, that would be like an absolute colossal, monumental failure. That will look terrible for Rockstar and Take-Two. So I don't think they will go that route. I'd like to think they'd still continue to invest and try and do other things with it. But I think if this fails, they might just take the game in a different direction, which might not necessarily be something a lot of players like. Because back when I played GTA Online a lot, we didn't have oppressors and all like the scramjet and all the silly cars that could fly. So when they started getting released, it was like it doesn't feel like the game I used to play. Like all the little missions and jobs you used to do in GTA Online were completely pointless because you've got a heist now that pays hundreds of thousands, so why would you do anything else? And the game just, I felt like the dynamic of the game changed completely, and it wasn't as appealing for me, who used to play it a lot. And I think that might happen with Red Dead Online, where they change what direction they're trying to go with it. But
Yeah, it's possible. It's really possible that they might change the direction. Maybe they can. Maybe they could make it free to play without changing the direction in general. But
yeah,
uh,
like
who knows?
I feel like if it went free to play and had a good battle pass, because I think the outlaw passes are like a really bad system. I'm not talking about content. I'm talking about the system itself. If you wanna have a battle pass system that generates income, it's too easy for players to earn. Like for a brand new player, it's not easy, but for like a lot of players like me or you who've been playing for a while, there's nothing in the game that they can add where we've got to actually work for it because we have the money to buy it. Where I think you look at other games where they have like a free battle pass. The game's free to play, they have a free battle pass. And I know I'm talking about games that are like more battle royales, but they have a free battle pass and a premium one. And I feel like if Red Dead was free to play, maybe that's the way they go to generate the revenue. They have a free battle pass that you can get in game and a premium one, but make the game free to play. I don't know. it's weird. I just feel like the battle pass implementation they've got now, and the whole game itself is just in a weird, really weird state. It's like a premium game that you've got to buy with a weird battle pass that doesn't it doesn't require anything to actually go and buy or earn. It's weird. I
Yeah, and
don't
it's
really
not
understand the
working.
thinking.
It's
Yeah,
obviously not working for them. I mean, the way it can work. I mean, they have a profit. They actually sell a lot of more gold bars, but they can do way better because there is a huge audience of players who've been playing for a long time and still plays, and these players are just not spending any money on this game,
yeah.
which is
Um,
unusual. I mean, usually that's the audience you want to take some money from, and Rockstar only focuses on the new players. It seems like this to me, and actually, who else would buy gold? But they
yeah.
focus on them heavily, like more and more.
But I also think they've went too harsh on new players because I think if a new player started tomorrow and they want to get the 5 roles and they want to get the Outlaw Pass 5, that's like, I don't know, like 100. I'm just guessing here. I can't be bothered doing the math, but that's like 130 gold bars, which for a brand new player is like a really steep barrier to entry. And that'll take so long to earn for a brand new player because, one of the better ways to earn gold is by being a bounty hunter, which they don't have access to. So I think a lot of new players probably come see, okay, this will take so long to get all this new stuff, but if I want to just buy it, it's going to cost $100, so I'm not going to do that either. So I don't know. I feel like the whole game as a service implementation they've got, it just doesn't work. I feel like the battle pass system they've got is really bad. The barrier to entry for new players is really bad, and it being a premium but feels like free to play game, it's just I feel like everything about it is quite disjointed. It's like I feel like they've had ideas and just sort of done it without really thinking things through. Like it's almost like, oh, this sounds like it'll work. We'll try this. So we added outlaw passes. Okay, that's not really worked quite well because everyone can just earn the gold bar in game. So we'll make it $5 or we'll make it free to play on Game Pass for a while or whatever. It's just I don't know. The whole setup just seems really bad, and I think maybe they probably do need to take some time and go, okay, we're going to revisit it. We're going to make a different battle pass
But
system.
how? Like, give example
Because,
how they can revisit it. It's not
like, I
only
think
battle
it's
pass, sorry. It's not only. It's the
yeah, yeah,
whole
yeah.
economics in general, like gold
So
systems. They have to revisit it. I agree, but
yeah,
how?
yeah, I agree. So like, I mean, this is just me spewing something out of the air now. But if the
Yeah.
game was free to play and you had a premium, and when I say premium battle pass, I don't mean gold bars because you can earn gold bars in game. In Fortnite, you can't earn V-Bucks unless you pay real money for their battle pass. So I think, maybe they have a thing where, every 2 months they've got a new battle pass. You pay $10, you get access to that. But once you pay that $10, you get access, as a new player, you pay the $10, you get access to like maybe a new role each month. So you get a new player to pay $10 for 3 months and they've got all 5 roles. But or they can just go the free to play route, not pay real money and grind the gold out, which will take them
I
months.
mean, it's gonna be
You know,
many people now will say in the chat like, "Oh, what do you think? It's like a robbing. They will rob players." But I would say that if some new player would want to play a game consistently, this system is gonna be cheaper for a new player who's not like hardcore player who plays all day,
yeah,
right? Then
for
the
sure.
existing one is pretty predatory on the new players if you will think about it, and they've
Yeah,
made
yeah.
it much much worse in the last half a year, I would say. uh
Yeah, I agree. Like,
that's
I posted something on Twitter a couple months back where I think it worked out something like $40 to buy two of the new pistol variants. It was like $40 for two skins. Like that's crazy. No other game that like you can talk about Fortnite or COD or whatever or Rainbow Six. None of them, or even Apex Legends, none of them charge that much money for skins. Not even a skin for a weapon variant. That's crazy. It's so it's
nah,
so
it's 40
expensive for a
gold.
new
It's
player.
40 gold. It's like
Yeah,
20 bucks,
for
I guess,
yeah,
18
yeah.
bucks or something if I
But I
remember
think
prices.
that's crazy. That's for one
Yeah.
gun that you aren't going to use much because most players use rifles. So yeah, you pay $20 for these two skins that you're gonna not really see much because you have, other weapons. So it's like,
You
if that
can
was part of
flex.
like,
You can flex with
yeah,
them.
it's that's it. It's like if that was part of a different battle pass system where you've got to pay $10 for season one. It's like season one battle pass for Red Dead. You pay $20 or whatever. You get all that crap. And what other games do is once you pay for the first battle pass, you usually can, if you complete that, you get enough currency to buy the next battle pass. So the players who don't complete it will still have to pay real money next time. The players who do complete it will get it for free. So that's a big incentive then. So okay, I'm gonna keep playing this and I'll get the next one for free. You know, that works out for Rockstar because the player base then they've got active players in it. And the ones who don't play it to completion will have to then pay money again, which also works for Rockstar. And I feel like that's a better system. I mean, this is just me thinking of an idea, but I feel like that's a better system than what they've got now, where you can earn the Outlaw Pass in game for experienced players. It's worthless. You can just you pay your 35 gold and you get it within minutes. You can redeem all your XP from collectibles and everything. And it's like, okay, done. What now? And Rockstar doesn't earn anything from that. You don't, because I did it with the last Outlaw Pass. I unlocked it within like 2 days and was like, right, so I didn't really like the Bounty Hunter update. This Outlaw Pass isn't that good. So I waited then until from Outlaw Pass 4 to 5. Outlaw Pass 5 came out and it was the same thing. It's like, I can just buy this, I can unlock everything, and it's just...
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
just
but
no reason
again,
to keep
they are
playing.
focused on the new players, not on you and not
But
on me. They understand
yeah.
they're not gonna get any profit from us, but for a new player, well, there is a lot of temptation to buy gold right now. Because, I'm gonna tell you a funny story. I actually never told it before on my streams. When they nerfed daily challenge system, I've created a new character just to see like how easy it is to earn gold right now. And I found that it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard. So I decided to make a guide for new players, and I've made it. And the first tip was like, you're gonna earn 10 gold bars just if you're gonna do two-step verification. And people, because you maybe remember it, but it was such a offer back in beta. And actually, yeah, they paid for people this, but some have not received this 10 gold bars. I personally received it automatically, but in a month or so, some people started to complain that, okay, I've made two-step verification, have not received gold. Okay, then I made an update, like, contact support, they will give you gold. And many people did so. And I mean, this video has like more than 300,000 views, so I bet many people did so. And you know what? It worked until March, and in April I started to receive mass messages like they stopped doing it. They are responding that this promotion has ended. I mean, obviously it has ended. It was going on like 2 years ago and they just forgot to turn it off. But now they removed it manually. And you know what? You know why? Just because this 10 gold bars is it's a big difference for a beginner. I mean, really, it's a big difference. 10 gold bars, you can like grind a little bit and afford first roll. But without it, it's super hard. And so and in my opinion, it's a weird and greedy and destructive decision by them, because they should be interested in keeping a player playing. If he will have enough gold and buy at least first roll, I mean, you will have this player. But if he will be for him it will be super hard to do anything in this game, well, you might lose him, because I'm pretty sure you have some sort of a statistics, or saw some sort of a statistic. I saw it on Reddit, like how many players are leaving the game without even reaching level 20 or something, or level 50. Yeah. It's insane. It's insane numbers.
So I did a similar thing. So when the game was $5, I bought another copy. I got 10 gold bars from Two Factor, and then I did a couple bounties and stuff with friends, joined the posse, and then I just got it through daily challenges, so I could buy the bounty hunter role, and it was fine, and I played on that account for a bit, and then I couldn't remember the Steam account I bought that on, so I just got another one for $5 before it ended, but then I couldn't get the two-factor bonus, and I think I just couldn't earn gold because quite a few of my friends weren't playing, so I couldn't join a posse for bounties, and I was like, I'm getting bit, not even a gold bar a day through daily challenges. I was like, this is so hard, and I thought like the only way, as it like in that instance of being a new player, to get more to get gold is to buy it.
Exactly.
But it's just the amount of gold you'd need to buy to unlock things is crazy, and it's like. And a new player, I think, wouldn't know they should buy the bounty hunter role because then they can earn gold. They might buy it and say, "Oh, the trader, you can make hundreds of dollars." They buy that, but then they still can't get enough gold to actually buy another role without grinding through daily challenges or getting lucky with a treasure map. It's so hard as a new player to actually earn gold, I think. Like when you first started, within 28 days, because of the streak and the amount of gold you earned, it was fine. I felt like it was pretty easy, but now it's so much more difficult, and especially because it resets after 28 days. I think
Yeah, and I
that's
mean, new players
such a bad thing.
don't have roles, and
Yeah,
it's hard to earn gold from daily challenges. I mean, it's still the best way to earn gold, to be honest. Daily challenges, if you have all the roles, because you can easily do roles, the challenges for roles, and you already have some. But I mean, if you're a new player and some daily challenges are like finish top 3 in PvP showdown, which is like for many new players impossible. It's just
yeah.
impossible. It's not gonna
That
happen.
I think that's the problem as well. A lot of daily challenges can be really hard for a new because I know you get a bit of bonus for completing them all, but if you're a brand new player and you've got, you've just saved up and got your varmint rifle and you've got a varmint rifle and like I can't remember the revolver you start with. But you're not going to do anything in PvP against people who've got proper loadouts, they've got ability cards and everything. And I think that's another thing for new players. The ability card system is crazy difficult to understand as a new player. So it's just overwhelming for them to be able to go and do any type of PvP and actually win. Unless they get lucky and get into an AFKP lobby because there's a bonus on
Yeah.
gold.
But
That's the only
okay,
time
by
you
the
win.
way, but since you mentioned it, we don't have bonus on gold for a long time now. Have you mentioned
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
I
I
mean,
think I
not
think
it.
they probably learned the lesson because every
Yeah.
time they have a bonus on gold, the lobbies are full, but no one's doing anything. Like I used to join a couple, and I could never be bothered to AFK for gold, but I'd join a couple just to shoot people who are AFK, and then after a while, like it's easy XP. Like I could finally come top in a PvP game because normally I definitely wouldn't. But yeah, it's
But I mean,
it's so
if
weird.
there are like 3 live players counting you and anyone else is staying AFK, and I actually had this 8 on 8, like full lobby, 16 players, and there were 3 players who not AFK, only 3 counting me, and that was insane. And
Yeah,
that was like an usual situation, especially on the PC. I mean, because macros are so much easier for PC, obviously, to set up. So there are way
yeah,
more
yeah.
FK players. So they actually refused to, stopped giving us double or triple gold.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that again unless
Yeah, like
they
never.
unless they unless they add something that like in a game like Overwatch, just moving isn't enough to not go AFK. You've got to like do a certain amount of damage, or the game will still say you're AFK and
Yes.
kick you out. So unless Rockstar does something like that to prevent it, I don't think we'll ever get bonus gold on PvP series again. Yeah, I think they've learned the lesson.
Yeah, it looks like. But I mean, it was a uh, if they will add this, if they will add this AFK protection, still I don't think we will see too much of a triple gold on PvP, just because they seem to focus harder on monetization recently,
Yeah,
and I think it's gonna get worse with each update, especially if there will be significant update.
yeah,
Because
I agree.
it's one thing to nerf daily challenges at the moment when you release some mediocre update at best, like bounty hunters. Is you're gonna get a lot of hate for that, and obviously for a reason. But if they will do some sort of a nerf, or some other uh, harder focus on monetization, let's say, at the moment when they will add like real big update, like heist, for example, if these robberies will be heist with properties, and they will nerf earning gold earning a little bit more. I'm pretty sure they will be absolutely fine with this. Like, not too many people will complain about it, and just because anyone will be happy that we finally have the content that we've been asking for a long time. So I'm afraid that is something that is gonna happen.
Yeah.
But we will see, obviously. No, nobody knows what. So, by the way, you said that you've been, at the beginning of the stream, you've been like a little bit more negative recently. But what do you think? What do you see on the Reddit? Is this, am I right that it's an, atmosphere in the community, or is just like personal?
So I I have honestly stopped reading the subreddit a lot of the time because you can go on Twitter and Twitter can still be negative, or you can post something. I could post that I'm disappointed, but there's still a lot of cool stuff that you'll see on Twitter outside of that, where I feel like at the minute almost everything on the subreddit is people like they're not happy, or every meme is someone joking about Rockstar being terrible, and it's like, I did find this funny 6 months ago. I'm just so tired of it now. I just want to move on. I just give us something so the community can cheer up, because it's so miserable when you're reading like on Reddit or Twitter and it's just constant negativity. But Reddit, I think Reddit's the worst at the moment because it's like a static page, isn't it? Reddit, where someone sees something negative, they agree with it, and then they get upvoted. So that just stays on the page forever, which then breeds more negativity. Where on Twitter, you can post a tweet, and within 10 minutes it disappears. On Discord, if someone posts a negative comment, it'll go away within a couple of seconds. But Reddit, it's just always there. So I feel like because of that,
But I
it's
mean, there are
much
some
more negative.
funny memes that you repost on
Oh,
Twitter sometimes.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Some of the memes,
still, like some cool memes there are.
yeah, like that's what I mean. I tried for a little bit not to post many because I feel like I don't want to be sound like I'm beating a dead horse and I'm constantly criticized. But some of them are so funny that I'm like, yeah, I feel like I've got to share this, so I do.
It still
Like
can
I
be
think,
funny. I mean, even it's negative,
yeah,
so
yeah.
some are pretty laughable.
Like I think even on the subreddit, it still says like sad about their daily streak when you look in the sidebar, because it
Oh
changed
yeah,
after the
yeah,
nerf, and I think it still says that, and I don't think I'll ever change that. I think that'll just stay that way, forever.
yeah. Yes, there
It's
are
true.
so many fun stuff
Like,
appears. So small advertisement, not advertisement, announcement. I would like to say hello to anyone who joined and communicating in the chat. I'm trying to keep an eye on chat, and now we have like more than 400 viewers and 300 likes. So Cat is like opening box. I guess I should make different GIF for this announcement, because my cat loves boxes, and each time I'm buying something. It was a funny story. Like recently, I bought something with a smaller box. It's still a box, but it's not as big, so cat can get inside. And he was like so offended by this. He was running around this box and just screaming like meow, meow. Cat love boxes, but only boxes in which they can get inside. I guess so. It's a statement.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So since we've talked about this update, let's go back to it, because I have another question. Like, if they said summer, right? And you just said that it looks like it's not gonna be on the 1st June. But what will we receive on 1st June? Like nothing? What do you think? Like not even...
Yeah.
Outlaw Pass ends, all the bonuses are expiring, and for the last year, I believe, we had not a single day, not a year, but since last July, not a single day without Outlaw Pass being active. Or we will receive some small Outlaw Pass, like 20 levels, since this one had only 80. What's your prediction?
So I think we will probably have a couple of weeks of a break between Outlaw Pass 5 and whatever's next, because I could be wrong now because it's so long ago, but I think when Outlaw Pass 1 came out on console, there was still a little break between Outlaw Pass 2. And I feel like that probably would have been what they tried to do always, but with the pandemic and whatever else, I feel like they decided, okay, we'll try and always have an Outlaw Pass active, so there's always some small incentive for people to go into the game. And that's why we had like Outlaw Pass 3, the Halloween
Mm.
Pass, Outlaw Pass 4 and 5 all in succession, where I think we're almost coming out of that weird period now, and I think we could see the update in June, just not June 1st. I don't think June 1st is when we'll get it. I'd be really surprised. June 1st is also a Tuesday, coincidentally,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think we'll see it on Tuesday, June 1st. I think the middle of June or later in June is more realistic, but I'd happily be surprised. But I think the reason they had all the passes together, as I say, was to keep an incentive for people to join the game always, where we're getting out of that stage now. They've got the races that are coming next week, and I think they're going to probably leave that as like something in the game for a couple of weeks before they then release the summer update. Or at least that's what I'm hoping, because I think I can't remember the exact date, but doesn't summer start on like the 20th of June or something?
Yeah, in
So
USA, like yeah, it's
yeah,
weird
so
because
so maybe we'll get the update on the 25th of June, like, or whatever is the 22nd of June, which is a bit like the day after summer starts. I don't know. Maybe that's optimistic because the last summer update that we got came in
in
September.
September,
But
yeah.
but I don't think they'll leave it that long. I really hope they don't, and I don't think they will. I think end of June is when we should see something. Although, as I say, I'd love to be surprised, and on the 1st of June, we have an update and
You
they're
will
ready for people.
probably be surprised to see it in October since you don't want to see it in September. That's kind of surprise that Rockstar is capable of.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
I just hope that they have some sort of a strategy. So maybe it might look like we have one big summer update and one smaller December update, like it was with, well, basically Outlaw. Outlaws is
yeah,
how they call it. Bounty Hunter was smaller.
yeah,
Naturalist was quote the biggest and the best, like the funniest update ever. And Moonshiner was smaller, and Frontier Pursuits was like actually the biggest and the funniest. But so according to this logic, this summer we got to get something reasonable. It's
yeah.
another argument
So
actually why I'm optimistic.
yeah, I feel like that's sort of what's happened with GTA as well. GTA got when we got the Naturalist update, GTA got a really terrible update that I
Mm-hmm.
don't think any person will ever remember, where you could do some boring missions with your yacht. And then they got the Cayo Perico heist. I think years before that, it was similar, where they got a small update. Then they got the Diamond Casino. So that's sort of always been their approach they've took with GTA. I just think last year, I feel like the Bounty Hunter expansion was meant to be. I didn't really feel like that was meant to be a solo update. I just think because of everything that happened, they pushed Naturalist out because of the negative publicity and everything else, and then they needed something else, which is why we got the small Bounty Hunter update. And I think update is a generous word for what we actually got.
Yeah.
So I don't think we will see something like the Bounty Hunter update again. I hope not anyway, because that was atrocious. That was really, really bad. Um, I think we might get a bigger update. Like, I'm hoping this robberies update will have, robberies, heists, maybe some type of property, whether that's an expansion on your camp or your moonshine bar. And then maybe later in the year we get a smaller update that isn't as substantial. And it follows that pattern, because I think whatever comes in summer has to be big, because GTA is getting an update. GTA Online's coming, being re-released in November. I don't think they're going to re-release that and then say, oh, and in December we're doing a big Red Dead update.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're not gonna see
Yeah,
at the end of the year something significant. But I mean,
yeah.
small
So
update can be cool as well, like the Moonshine.
yeah,
Though
yeah,
it was small,
mm,
but it's
for
small, but
sure.
it's cool.
So
Yeah, I
I
have
think
meme time.
I
It's
think,
a meme time. Sorry.
but I think maybe next year I think we'll get an update earlier in the year, now that things are going a bit easier in terms of working conditions for the devs, you know, not working from home and all that sort of thing. And I think it'll follow that pattern then of one big update and a smaller update somewhere in the year. But I think whatever comes in summer will be the big update we get. We're not going to get another one later in the year because of GTA. They're not going to want one person playing Red Dead when GTA gets re-released. You know, so I think this will be it. This will be our update, and then we've got to look at 2022 and what happens then.
Yeah, but I mean, this all are again the reasons why summer updates should be more significant than
Yeah,
just
yeah,
Telegram
yeah,
missions. Also,
for
that's why
sure.
I'm actually optimistic. Some people say that it's Austin BMX bite me and yeah, like infected me with optimism,
Yeah,
but
Austin is far too optimistic. Like I think I should make it my mission to make him a bit more negative and pessimistic. Although he never will be.
I
He's
mean,
just so positive.
Rockstar will do it better. Like, don't worry.
Yeah, yeah. Leave that
Yeah,
to the
leave that to
professionals.
them. Yeah, they know how to do it. I mean, they have a lot of practice, a lot of
Yeah,
practice. I mean,
definitely.
and it's kind of sad fact, but I mean, I'm still shocked by the result. I actually asked on my community page, like, what do you think? And you know, there are like 5 options from awesome to like terrible. And let's say terrible is only 1 point and awesome is 5. And I see the average score is lower than 3. So people are so not believe in this company.
Yeah,
It's surprising. It's not
definitely.
just people from the street. It's people who play Red Dead Online. They are so disappointed in the
Yeah,
company in general. It's just not the way it should be. I think. So it's a
yeah.
baddest
I
publicity.
I think that's why we need this update to win people back over. We need an update where people go, okay, you know what? Like when Frontier Pursuits came out, people before that, people were like quite pessimistic and they were like, what's actually the future of this game? What's going on? And then that update came out and it was amazing. 2 months later, we got Moonshiners and everyone's like, okay,
Hmm.
we're seeing some real momentum now. This looks like, it's going to be quite a game. And then obviously the pandemic happened and we didn't get an update for 7 or 8 months. But I feel like if this update can come out and actually deliver, then I think it wins people back. And I think then people will start being more optimistic about future updates. They'll be like, okay, this was really cool, so the next one should be too. But if it's anything like the Bounty Hunter update, I'm totally gonna delete the Red Dead Twitter account. I'm just gonna go because that was the. If it's anything like that, I'll be so disappointed. It'll be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I hardly can imagine what will happen to the community if this update will be like
Yeah,
under-delivered. I mean, and some might say like, oh, it's partly will be your fault because you like hyping this small statement. But I mean, I still think it's not a small statement for Rockstar. It's a pretty big statement. And if I don't know, I mean, if they will make such statement and release Telegram missions, then definitely someone who's choosing such words to post in the official news wire is definitely should not work there, because it's
yeah,
obviously that they are like warming the community. And at this point, if you warming and hyping the community and you will not deliver, it's just gonna be catastrophic
yeah.
for the game. I mean, they should
I
understand it, in my opinion.
yeah. I think if that happened, I think it would almost be like close to that. That would kill the game because people
Yeah.
would lose all faith. Then people would like never trust an update from them again. So I'm hoping they release something that's great and we can get away then from this negativity and people always expecting the worst. Because I've got to. I mean, I think everyone will agree. It gets to the point where it's a bit boring, where you never expect anything good. It'd actually be nice to say and think this is going to be cool. Like you get to the point, don't you, where you're like, well, why are we still playing if we don't expect anything good? And I
Exactly.
know we went through all that with the clan stuff, but I think that was a different situation. It's completely different circumstances now to then. That's why I would never say like we could do a clan movement again because it's different now. Where since the clan movement, there will have been 3 updates. they've had the chance. This isn't like we're not getting content. This is just the content we're getting isn't good enough. It's a different thing. Where the clown movement was all about we're just being ignored. The game's boring, so we'll go and do something fun. That was the idea behind the clown stuff. I got attention and it served its purpose. We had fun. A lot of people talked about it.
Yeah.
Where now it'd be different. We could never do that again because they've released content. It's a completely different circumstance now. So I really hope more than anything the game like goes well and we get good updates because it is pretty annoying now getting to the point where it's like everyone expecting it. Like when they posted the tweet yesterday about the updates, I got a couple of DMs on Twitter, on Discord, and people were like, "Do you think this will be any good?" And I'm like, "That's the idea. People shouldn't be saying, will this be any good? They
Exactly.
should be like, this looks really cool. This looks
Exactly.
amazing." Because when people post updates or like little trailers from other games, you look and you think, okay, that actually looks sick. Where with Red Dead, we're like, well, hopefully it's good, but it might be crap. And it's like, it's such a weird attitude to have, and I hope we can get a good update and just move past that now. That's where I hope anyway.
And actually, to the topic of discussion, I just saw Austin BMX comment: massive update with larger high stakes robberies. Sneak around the mansion to make $12. And you see, Rockstar have done the job for you. Doesn't sound optimistic for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean I completely agree with you. I was super surprised to see this voting results. I was like how is it even possible? I mean, even I always skeptical, but this time I was like, yeah, like finally they delivered this. But people just like, okay, we don't really trust, we don't, let's wait and see. And it's super weird to have, but yeah, if they will deliver, I guess people will regain some faith. We just need some faith and money.
Gotta have faith.
Yeah.
Just a little faith.
Yeah. Oh, look at this look at this beer. It's something wrong. Wow, wow. Oh, I thought that it will be this forever, but unfortunately it fell. But we will see. We will see what will happen. But so far, it looks like even like pretty much anyone in the community is like super cautious about this. But on the other hand, why should you lower your expectation? I mean, I don't see this logic. Like many people say, like lower your expectation, you're not gonna get disappointed. I mean, so what if I'm not gonna get disappointed? This game will die if there will be like lame update in June after so much time of waiting and crappy updates like Bounty Hunter and Naturalist actually is something not significant as well. So we've been waiting since December. What years it was?
We've been waiting since July. December doesn't count.
No, I mean from Moonshine update basically was supposed to receive something cool.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I have to lower my expectations to not get disappointed. I mean, how can you not be disappointed at this point? Like, how low your expectations should be? Like, okay, they will release nothing on June. That's that low. And still you're gonna get disappointed because they will release something, and this something will be not something that they should have been. So it's possible. I'm not saying that's gonna happen because I think that now it's the time. Now it's the time when they will not fail, because it should be someday, right? But by the way, have you? I wanted to ask you about this press, not the press, but investors call. Was there something interesting? Because I was not listening to it today. Have you been paying attention?
There was nothing that interesting. I didn't listen to it. I was out, but I spoke with Videotech. He sent me some stuff through it, and there was nothing. And they I'll get up. So part of the investor call, they said we released 3 new content updates for Red Dead Online, including the first of a new source of employment missions available for solo players. And it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You've mentioned on an investor call, like, it's funny. Like you see on the part where they talk about GTA, they're like, yeah, we introduced this, and this, and it's like, yeah, we got 3 Telegram missions.
that nobody cares about really,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
make no money for players and for companies. So why would you even mention it?
yeah.
Why have not they mentioned outstanding Outlaw Pass 5, which was a great success, obviously.
Yeah, so they did. That was the next line. And we introduced Outlaw Pass 5 and its new rewards. Like, that was like, I think the Outlaw Pass 5 was more disliked than the Bounty Hunter update. It was it's shambolic how bad that was.
Actually,
Like,
statistically, no, it was less disliked, but you know the reason why Bounty Hunter was disliked is just because of the daily challenge system nerf.
yeah, yeah,
It was heavily disliked, like to the ground. Anything that was connected to Rockstar in December on YouTube, for example, on their YouTube channel, like Outlaw Pass 4, Bounty Hunters update itself, all was super disliked. And the reason is obviously daily challenge nerf. But this one was heavily disliked as well, and by many players it was considered. I mean,
yeah.
90 something percent said it's it's the worst update ever, and I'm not quite sure why people who would say it's the best, because I had the voting for the best as well, and like
Yeah.
4% said that this one is the best, but
Yeah,
I don't get
that's
why.
that's the four people who work on Reddit online all thought it was the best.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, so there was nothing interesting, because usually it goes like someone asks them a question and say something like, "No, we cannot discuss this at the moment." And yeah, I guess this one was pretty much the same. It was not.
Yeah.
Oh, but about expectations, E3. Do you expect to see something not necessarily about Red Dead Online, but from Rockstar at E3, something significant? Because they will
I
be there.
I don't think Rockstar will share anything about Red Dead. Like, I think forget about Red Dead. I think as part of maybe like I haven't actually looked at the E3 lineup. I have no interest in it at the moment. But I feel like because of Sony's partnership with Rockstar, we might see something from GTA at E3. That's what I'm hoping, because they've just announced the release date for the new GTA re-release, and we haven't seen anything from it. We don't
Yeah.
know what it looks like, and I think E3 should be the place they share, because if it is going to be on an updated version of the game engine, then you'd be able to see that in a screenshot or a trailer. You know, if they've added new mechanics, like you can't even crouch in GTA. So there's things like that, that would be great if they did use an updated engine, but I feel like they've got to show that off soon, because people have been asking a lot of questions about it. Obviously, GTA 6 isn't coming for 50 years, so this update to GTA Online's got to be pretty big, and we've got to hear something about it soon. So I think we may hear about that, and I think if we're going to get a re-release of one of the older GTA games, a remaster, we might hear something about that, but I'm not sure. Because the amount of rumors you hear about Rockstar constantly, it's just hard to even think anymore what's realistic and what isn't, because it feels like every few weeks there's a new game that's going to be remastered or remade, and we haven't seen one ever, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, nobody is sure, but it was about like predictions, because yeah, they for some reason are taking parts. So, and it's quite interesting. But I also think that it will be connected to this
Yeah,
new version of GTA 5, because it makes sense, especially since yes, they announced, but without any details, not even a screenshot from there, not even a part of
yeah,
footage. So some days they actually should do this, and E3 seems like a good moment to do this. So yeah, it will be interesting. And anyway, now is the time, I guess, to start questions. If you have some questions, just ask them in the chat, and I will continue with my question. So I've saw this statement many times, like, why do you need to be an outlaw? Why do you need new outlaw activities in Red Dead Online? Because there are already some outlaw activities, like stranger
yeah,
missions and telegram missions, But what do you think? How can you comment this statement? Because I see it a
So,
lot.
so I feel like, you know, if you go and play Skyrim or Oblivion, you know, you will do the exact same missions that you currently do in Red Dead Online, but you're not an outlaw or a cowboy in those games. You know, it's just a mission. It's a standard mission. Like stranger missions are not outlaw missions yet. You're going to rob someone's, wagon, but it's not an outlaw activity. You do that in GTA. You do that in any type of RPG you can imagine. An outlaw activity is more like what you'd expect to see in a Western movie. Hold like all from story mode. Holding up a train, trying to rob a bank, having like actual consequences. Trying to deal with the law and bounty hunters and that sort of thing. And we've never really had that in online
Hmm.
because the bounty hunter system online is just so
Yeah.
the bounty system's always so it's awful. The only thing the bounty hunter system does online is covers the clock when you want to see what time it is. It's got no other purpose other than that. It's so meaningless. And I think, as if you want to role play your character as an outlaw, you need to be able to have consequences. Yeah, you want to go and rob people and do stuff, but there's no consequences to it at the moment.
So there is
Where
no risk and no reward actually for
yeah,
this.
yeah,
And they
and
should be both to feel like you are an outlaw.
yeah, and that's it. So you don't actually feel like an outlaw. You just feel like, you know, you're walking around the map like you would in Skyrim because you've been told to go from A to B. You've been told what to do. You're not doing it because you're an outlaw. Like you can't be like outlaws. You like to imagine are like opportunistic. You see something and you make a quick plan to rob it. There's nothing like that in Red Dead Online. You don't go and like hold people up or anything like that. That's the stuff I feel like would make you an outlaw. Where yeah, you commit crimes at the minute, but you know, you in GTA Online you can crash into a car. Does that make you an outlaw? No, it doesn't. There needs to be like meaning and substance behind like the things you're doing for it to be an outlaw. And I always see that oh, there's plenty of outlaw stuff, and there just isn't. I think there's barely anything in the game that's outlaw-esque. If you get where I mean.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't feel like an outlaw. I mean, technically, I agree with it. Technically, this robbery mission from a storyline is like a bad. It's technically a robbery, but it's just not something what we mean by heist or robbery is what we want to see. And it again, it's not an outlaw. Oh, so cool question from Keegan. He asked actually, do you think Rockstar will ever implement Mexico or Guarma into Red Dead Redemption Online? And this leads me to the next question, but first answer is Mexico or Guarma. Will they ever be added to Red Dead Online?
I I felt like if they were gonna, so this is maybe a long-winded answer. If they're gonna remaster Red Dead 1, then they've obviously got to redo the whole map. They've got to update Mexico. And if they're gonna do that, I feel like naturally Mexico could then come into Red Dead Online, because if they're using the same engine, same assets and all that. But if they're not gonna do that, I don't think they'll ever add it because it's quite a large space to add into the game in a game with, there's only what 30 players in the lobby and you barely see players as there is. There's not much to do on the map, so I don't see what the point would actually be in adding Mexico. I don't think it'll happen. I don't actually personally care if it happens or not because there's nothing that I could do in Mexico that I can't do in New Austin or, West Elizabeth.
Yeah, but
So,
imagine if there will be like full functional this and full functional area, and it leads me to the question like, what would you choose if you can choose one thing only? It's my usual question, so I just have to ask you. And you can imagine pretty much anything. What do you think? What you want about each of these terms? Like first one is roles and outlaw role and heist. Second one properties, and third one Mexico. All full functioning, always full of different
so,
features. But you can choose only one. Which one would it
so
be?
I don't, as I've just said, I'm not that interested in Mexico because there's not a lot to do there. Maybe if we had an amazing heist update and an amazing outlaw update, like if there were like a lot of outlaw activities you could do, you could, have beef with the Del Lobos, and all that sort. Like you, in one of the bounties, you go and take the leader of the Del Lobos, Carmina. So maybe if Mexico was there, you could have beef with them or something. I don't think that would happen, but I think if I had to choose one, it would definitely be like more outlaw activities and content and consequences for what you're doing. But I think, for an outlaw update, you almost need the counter of that, which is like a lawman update to coincide with that, because the AI are never going to be a challenge to players. But if you're doing a heist or you're doing a big robbery or you're killing a lot of NPCs, then maybe people who are bounty hunters will be sent after you. Okay, this guy's obviously a big criminal. We're going to send player bounty hunters after them. And I think that'd make it so much more interesting than what we've got now. So I definitely wouldn't choose Mexico. I don't care about properties that much because, you've got a moonshine shack. I think just expand on that. There's other stuff you can do with that. That's fine. So it'd definitely be like outlaw stuff, heist
So
stuff,
basically,
and
what
that
we
sort of thing
expect
for
to
sure.
see in the summer update, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
And the last question, because I know you short on time a little bit, but the last question you might not answer if you don't want to. Like, where are you from? There is a question because you have an interesting accent.
Yeah, so I've had chat open and I've had someone say Welsh,
Yeah,
Scottish.
yeah.
One person said Texas. It's obviously, do I sound Texan? Come on.
Not for
So
me. Welsh, yeah, Welsh
so
maybe.
so yeah, so I'm from, so one person did actually get it right at the start. I'm from Liverpool, which is in England. But yeah, definitely not a Texan.
Oh,
No chance of that.
yeah. Are you a football fan? Like, I mean, we're running out of time, but do you for FC
Yeah, yeah,
Liverpool?
yeah, yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
I'm a Liverpool
I
fan,
mean,
yeah,
why
for
not?
sure.
I mean, why not if you live in Liverpool? so, so
Yeah,
yeah, anyway, dude, was glad to have you on this podcast. We discussed some topics and see you next time. Thank you for
yeah.
joining.
Thank you for having me.
Y-
Thank you, chat.
Yeah,
Good night.
see ya. Anyway, oh, sorry, I almost turned off mic. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining. Thanks for placing likes if you did some. And thanks for communicating in the chat. Was glad to see you. We, had some sort of a speculations because we, what we can do, they only said a little bit of info about upcoming updates, so we just had to speculate. And yeah, it was a fun, usual stream. I guess you know that each Wednesday I'm doing this community-based podcast about Red Dead Online, talking different persons from the Red Dead Online community. So yeah, I hope that soon we will get. I hope, but not expect. Let's say it this way. I hope that, but not expect that soon we will get at least some information, additional information about, this upcoming update. Probably not gonna happen, unfortunately, but that would be interesting. Anyway, thanks to all my patrons who support me on Patreon. You could saw them their nicknames on the screen or during the stream. So anyway, stay healthy. Thank you for joining me today, and see ya. Good night. Bye bye. До свидания. I had to say this. I mean, до свидания. And cat like.